Hey, once again, everybody. Continuing the movie discussion that I've been getting really into lately. So, for this video discussion, I do want to bring up something I said I would bring up in a separate video when I went over my disturbing movies of all time that I've seen. I went over a Serbian film and how it has the NC-17 rating in accordance with the U.S. movie rating system. Who is texting me? Oh my god. Okay. Okay, Carol, whatever. Alright. Sorry, guys. It's just something I want to bring up because I'm not sure the average person is even aware of this existing. If you do, great. I'm not here to cast judgment or anything, but maybe like for other people outside the U.S. Because again, not all my audience comes from the U.S. where the MPAA is stationed. So anyway, as you can see here, we are a good old Wikipedia, great source for information, by the way, and bring up the rating system. Now it has been changed throughout the years, right? So yeah, it's officially known as the MPA Motion Picture Association, which according to this was formerly known as the Motion Picture Association of America, so MPAA. It was established quite a few decades ago, as films became more mature and people became concerned, like, well, I don't know if this is appropriate for my kid or not. So they made a rating system, to give guidance on these things, like, yeah, this is for kids, this is not for kids. I'm not against this at all, by the way. I do feel there should be a rating system, although the way these ratings are implemented, I do have a lot of issue with. That could be a topic for another video, where I see so many things that should be R given PG-13, and there are things that are PG-13 that should be given R, blah blah blah. I'm not here to talk about that per se. I want to talk about the dreaded NC-17 rating, which by the standards set now is the highest rating for a film in the United States, right? Now to bring up these images right here, as you can see, the current system we have now is G, PG, PG-13, R, and NC-17, right? Now, maybe, I'm not here to cast judgment, but was anyone here aware this rating even exists, the NC-17 rating right here? If you're not, there is a good reason. It was sort of implemented in the early 90s, I believe, to replace the X rating, which was something that existed before that. So yeah, there was the X rating back then from 1960 to 1970. Then they changed it again over here. Yeah, they did introduce PG-13 later on, right? So according to, yeah, they didn't even have a PG-13 rating when this shit started, right? So it was you either got a PG rating or an R rating, pretty much, right? There was no in between, which is how things like Airplane got a PG rating, even though there is a scene where a woman is fully topless for a second. Yeah, that got a PG rating. Whereas today's standards, it would get an R rating, not just for that, but also the woman sniffing cocaine too. That would never fly in PG. Give me a break. But yeah, you get what I'm saying, right? It just boggles me. They didn't think of. Oh my god. Oh my god, she texted me saying she's coming home. Now she's saying, oh yeah, don't eat anything, gotta talk to you. Oh my god. Always want to try and do shit, right? Seriously. Okay, let's get back on track. So I was surprised it took them that long to make this. In case you're wondering, the very first film to get the PG-13 rating is the original Red Dawn. I remember that being announced. The one with Patrick Swayze, not the remake that they did a few years ago, but the original Red Dawn, right here. It came out in 84, right? Yeah, the year I was born, believe it or not, so there you go. That was the first film that got the rating, okay? So yeah, it changed a bit. Extra placed by NC-17, that was in the 90s, right? So that's the basic gist of how the rating system came to be and what it is now, right? Now, in case you're wondering why this rating is not really used that much, there is very good reason. The NC-17 rating, because it's essentially spells doom for your movie, right? Because going between PG-13 and R, if you have a choice of how you want to market your film in terms of having mature content, if your market is PG-13, you're always going to technically appeal to a bigger audience. It's not just teenagers, but teenagers and adults, right? If you market your film as R, you always stand to lose more money, right? If given the choice between the two, because you're cutting off half of your target audience by just marketing it towards adults, right? So if you want to make a mature film and you're torn between PG-13 and R, yeah, obviously, yeah, you're gonna make more money by PG-13, but you got make the decision here. Do you want to make your film more profitable, or do you want to just make it more mature? Because obviously, there's very limited. It's limits to. Yeah. there are limits to what you can do in PG-13, right? Very limited compared to what you can do in R. NC-17, however, no, that's an entirely different story. Because that rating exists for what you want to put in a movie that you can't put in an R-rated movie, right? Now, I'm pretty sure many of you have seen an R-rated movie, right? So, like, what could you possibly not get away with an R rating that you, yeah, right? So, well, several things actually. It is reserved for like the most mature content imaginable, right? Back in the day, I know it was associated with porn so much because that's why it got such a stigma with the X rating. Maybe that's where the triple X thing, associated pornography, came from. I'm not sure, but yeah. The fact is, if you market your film as NC-17, it's pretty much doomed to fail, right? If you market it as R, you're already limiting your potential in terms of finances, well, I mean profits, right? Because you're not going to market as much and not going to make as much money. If the film comes out as NC-17, forget it. You're not going to make any money at all. Period. Very few theaters, if you're even going to market it in theaters as a theatrical release, very few theaters will actually show it because of the stigma surrounding it. There's going to be very little advertising for it. And likewise, when it comes to retail release, people are not going to want to watch it. So you're pretty much setting up your film to fail, both critic-wise, review-wise, money-wise, by marketing it with this rating, right? But it does exist in case people do need or want to market their film in whatever manner, even though you're setting it up to fail by this manner, right? So, how many films have actually gotten the rating, right? Very few, actually. I mean, considering how many other movies get PG-13 or R, I think like less than 100 since the rating was implemented in the 90s have gotten the rating, right? The thing is, if you are threatened with the rating, because there's a whole process of approving your movie for a rating before it goes into theaters, right? People don't want their film to be marketed like this, the filmmakers, right? So they'll, okay, let's cut a few seconds here, cut a few seconds there, get rid of that scene entirely, and they'll be resubmitted for a rating, get R, right? Because you don't want the NC-17 rating. Most people do not want this because of you're setting up your film to fail, right? But there are those rare exceptions where either they just accept the rating, they market it specifically for that audience, or they appeal it, but they're denied. So I want to go over some of these movies. Again, very select few. I'm going to bet many of you never even heard of these movies. But yeah, here we go on IMDb. So I arranged this by alphabetical order, as you can see. It's rated A to Z. According to this, NC-17 rating, official, 101 titles. 101 titles out of like what, the tens of thousands or maybe even hundreds of thousands that have come out that got a rating in the United States since the rating was implemented. 101. It's like mind-boggling. So that's probably why a lot of people have never even heard of the rating or seen a movie with the rating, right? So I want to go over some of these things. Now I have seen a few of them, but many of them I haven't, because again, 101 out of the like hundreds of thousands, right? So this thing, yeah, I've heard of this movie, 100 Tears. Don't know anything about it though. I think it's about a clown that kills people. We've seen that a million times over, right? There was that movie called Terrifier, right? The clown killing people, from what I understand. Okay, this came out in 2007 at 90 minutes. Yeah, pretty much sets up what I figured. It's a clown that kills people, right? I've never heard of anyone here as far as the cast goes. I mean, have you guys? Not ringing a bell. Never heard the director or the writer. Hmm. So what's this rated NC-17 for? Let's see. Does it even say? No, as far as I can tell, it doesn't. But all right, I assume it's for horror violence or violence to some extent that's so graphic it has to get the rating, right? Okay, so yeah, I never heard of this movie. I mean, I've never seen it. I heard of it while researching this list and stuff. Okay, A Dirty Shame. I have seen this, by the way. I did see this, by the way. Okay, so yes, there is Johnny Knoxville in the trailer. I mean, the image right there. Yeah, there you go. If you've never heard this movie, again, I don't blame you. It came out in 2004. So I'm not going to play the music here or the sound. I guess I could just show it without being a problem, right? Basically, it's just meant to be disgusting. That's all it basically exists for. There's no real plot to it or anything. Actually, I better not show that, because what if it's the Red Band trailer? I just realized that. It might get me in trouble, right? So it was directed by John Waters. This is actually the last movie he ever directed. If you don't know who John Waters is, he's been in the business for quite a while, doing bunch of like risque movies. I'll bring him up real quick, by the way. Yes, this guy. He also does some cameos in acting. He was in Jackass number 2. He was in one of the Chucky movies. He also guest starred as a version of himself on The Simpsons. Okay, so let's see. Maybe his thing as the director. Jesus Christ, go back. I'm trying to get some stuff done. Jeez. Ugh, these auto-scrolling stuff is gonna be death of me. So yeah, this is like the last mainstream film he directed. I'm not familiar with that. Oh, he actually did Pecker. I didn't realize that. That's the thing with Edward Furlong, right? Yeah, I remember Serial Mom. That's the first movie Matthew Lillard really got starred in. No Stu from Scream. Yeah, I remember he did Cry Baby, that musical thing with Johnny Depp. I don't know much about it. He did the original Hairspray. Yeah, I heard Female Trouble was very risque. Pink Flamingos. Jeez, I heard that was insanely disgusting, by the way. But yeah, he hasn't really done much since, because apparently, from what I've read from his own words, the financial loss on A Dirty Shame meant he didn't have any money to make any more movies ever since then, but I don't know about that. Anyway, let's go back on topic here. So if you want to know the basic gist of this movie, there's not even a plot to it for that most part. I'm gonna go with a few spoilers here, because it doesn't even like matter so much. It basically deals with a bunch of people in the town, and they become like nymphomaniacs and like obsessed with sex, right? And it's such a weird setting because like something triggers them to become obsessed with sex, right? And it's the most bizarre thing in the world. They get hit on the head, sort of like an amnesia sort of thing, where you get hit on the head in media and boom, you lose your memory. Well, in this case, if you get hit on the head, you become a nymphomaniac and become obsessed with sex. You see sex all around you, and you just gotta fuck everyone in sight. Essentially, very dumb premise. I know it is dumb, not denying that. And yeah, it really doesn't serve any purpose for that matter. I wasn't a huge fan of it because I just didn't think it was funny or entertaining. But yeah, Johnny Knoxville was one of the main characters, as was Tracy Ullman. Now, Tracy Ullman did have her show back in the 80s. That's where The Simpsons got its start from, as an animated short before it went to full syndication in 89. So yeah, this is the only movie I've ever seen Tracy Ullman in, by the way. So there's that. I don't recommend this movie, guys. It's just not funny. It just doesn't serve any purpose except to be very vulgar and dirty, which is fine if it has substance, but this Dirty Shame does not, okay? Let's see. In the Realm of the Senses? I've never heard of that. 1976. Okay. Okay, the original Bad Lieutenant. I did see this as well, by the way. I did see this as well. 1992. Okay. Yes, that is Harvey Keitel. No, he's pretty legendary. He's an Oscar nominee for Bugsy, by the way. Starred plenty of other things: Taxi Driver, Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, so and so. All right, so as regard as this movie, yeah, it's pretty dark, by the way. As if you couldn't tell by the title, it does deal with a corrupt police lieutenant, and going down this huge path of being like a corrupt asshole, doing like the worst things imaginable, so much. According to this, he doesn't even have a name; it just says LT. Okay, so yeah, I did see this. I didn't mind it so much, but it definitely goes to very dark places. I don't want to go into the plot so much because that it is pretty dark, by the way. And by the end, sort of like, yeah, you fuck around, find out, you get what you give, essentially, right? Now, if you're wondering, I thought this movie had Nicolas Cage in it. How is it Harvey Keitel? No, no. That is a different movie called Bad Lieutenant Port of Call, New Orleans. I'm not sure if that's meant to be a remake of this movie or not. I never saw the Nicolas Cage movie. But yeah, I did see this original with Harvey Keitel. It does deal with pretty dark subject matter. Not just that, a lot of the imagery, the sexual stuff, is just really heavy. I do feel it should have gotten the rating, absolutely. As for its quality, yeah, it's not a bad movie, I would say. It does deal with a lot of horrible subjects and stuff. But yeah, definitely deserves a rating. And not even that, it's pretty hard to find from what I could tell. I bought the DVD from a reseller, I believe on Amazon. Yeah, it's not an easy movie to find because there's also an R-rated cut, which cuts out much of the mature stuff, which is a very common thing with these movies. You have an R-rated cut and you have the original NC-17, which, by the way, A Dirty Shame had that thing too. I remember that. They had the NC-17 version, and they also had the neutered version, because that's what they call the people who are not into sex in that movie. Who, it's very weird. Okay, okay, I heard about Bent. I did hear about this. It's Clive Owen. I think it's about yeah. Mm. horrible subject matter, of course. I have not seen this either, by the way. I am interested. Well, Mick Jagger was in it. Okay. Oh yeah, this guy too. I gotta get more into this guy's work. I really like him. Okay. Oh, Jude Law was in it too. Wow. Ian McKellen. Jeez, I'm missing out on this movie. As for if this is good or not, I am not sure. I have not seen it. Yeah, from what I understand, for people who have seen it, it was sort of like biasly given the rating because there is a sex scene in it. But a lot of people who have seen it say it's very short and like not graphic at all, and more or less just got this rating because it's between two men, which I don't think is very fair and biased. It is very biased if it's not very explicit and deserving of the rating. I have not seen that scene, so I can't be 100% sure. As if this movie is good or not, what's the rating on this? 7.1 out of 10. Not bad considering this is IMDb, so I might have to check that out at some point. Okay, let's see. Beyond the Valley of Dolls, never saw that. Okay, that's probably the most recent one, Blonde, which is sort of like a fake biography, not a full biography about Marilyn Monroe. I did hear about this. I heard this was very not well received. Not because if it's dirty or not explicit or whatever, because again, I have not seen it for myself. But yeah, I have heard a lot of bad things saying it's just like a convoluted mess of whatever they're trying to tell. This was also distributed on Netflix. I remember this. It was the first Netflix produced film to get the rating. So I don't know. I might have to check that out later, give my own judgments on it. But from what I understand, it's not a full biography of Marilyn Monroe. It deals with some other fictional aspects. So I don't know why it would combine that with the other things. This sort of doesn't balance itself out, but whatever. Broken English. Never heard of this either. Okay, maybe it's a foreign film. I don't recognize any of these cast members, but okay, apparently there was something with that rating. With that, yeah, Man Bites Dog. Heard that. Oh yes, I did hear a chain, by the way. It was just directed by Jennifer Lynch, who I in my disturbing movies synopsis thing, I did go over the fact that she also directed Surveillance, which was qualifies for that list. As for this movie, I don't know much about it. I think it deals with a killer who keeps a kid hostage or something. Vincent D'Onofrio is in it, and I don't know if he's good or bad at that. I've not seen the movie. As for why it has an R rating, yeah, the original version they get NC-17. I believe they cut out one scene to get the R rating. Obviously, I haven't seen the scene in question. I haven't seen the movie, so I'm not sure if it's good or bad, if it qualifies for the rating or not. But yeah, yeah, that's Surveillance, guys. That's what I was talking about before. If you saw my disturbing movies thing I'm going through right now, I cover this movie in case you're wondering. Directed by the same woman. Okay. Yeah, believe it or not, the original Clerks pyramid got the rating too. Which, by the way, yes, you can get the rating just for using profanity. Explicit profanity does qualify as far as getting the rating goes. I know it's very sad. I never saw the original Clerks. I know. Give me all the hate in the world, guys. I know. It's just something I never got around to. It is one of Kevin Smith's earlier movies. I know that because the budget was very low. So the whole thing is in black and white. And from what I understand, it basically just deals with the two guys, Dante and Randall, in their store the whole time. I never saw this, so I can't really say for sure. The sad thing is, I saw the sequel, Clerks 2. I saw Clerks 2. I still have not seen Clerks 1. And I haven't seen Clerks 3, although I heard a lot of people actually don't like that. Does it go into trivia? Let me see. Yeah, rated R on appeal. So it was given NC-17. They appealed it. They got the R rating. Does it go into the trivia section? Anything about the rating? I don't care. Go away. Not really seeing anything. All right. But yeah, it goes to show you can get the ratings by swearing, which is kind of weird when you think about it. But at the same time, there is explicit things you can say that you usually can't get away with an R-rated movie, so I guess that's why I qualified. Again, I have not seen the movie, so I can't be sure what dialogue they use in that, but I definitely have to check that out at some point. Comfortably Numb. I have not heard of this either. 1995? Hmm. I've never heard of these people either. None of these cast actors, actresses ring a bell, so I don't know what this is all about. Okay, now Crash. I did see Crash. I saw the R-rated version of Crash, because again, there is an R-rated version, there is an NC-17 rated version. I rented the R-rated version from Hollywood Video a while back, so obviously I imagine the uncensored version is a lot worse. which from what I understand it is, because it's just full of sex orgies, from what I understand. As for the quality of this, it's kind of a very weird movie. I remember that. I remember that. So, yeah, it's directed by David Cronenberg. I know that. He does do very extreme movies, very extreme content in his movies. He did A History of Violence and Eastern Promises, extremely bloody, graphic movies, by the way. As for this, though, this is more like a sex orgy movie, from what I understand. It's a very weird setup because it deals with Holly Hunter and James Spader like becoming sex addicts or something. Like they get involved with a group of people who just like get aroused from danger or something. It's such a weird like setting. I know there's a term for it though. I'm not sure what it is exactly. Yeah, like look at the description right here, guys. Does that make sense to you? Does that make sense to you? Jeez. Controversial film you ever see. I'm pretty sure that's been beat. Yeah, numerous explicit sex scenes. There you go. Wow. So yeah, they cause a bunch of danger and dangerous situations. I remember in the movie they reenact the car crash that killed James Dean because he was an up and coming Canadian-born actor, I believe. He died in the head-on collision in his custom car, little bastard. So they reenact that scene while a whole audience is watching, and they get all aroused and start fucking each other. It's such a weird premise, I know, but apparently that is a real thing that happens where people get off on this stuff. Omnisec. I don't know if that's what the term is, because you know how there's this term torture porn? Not so much that you're killing someone in a pornographic manner, but you see someone get tortured, it's supposed to arouse you. You know, like Saw pretty much gave birth to that sort of concept. I think that's weird as hell too. You shouldn't be aroused by that stuff, but it does exist, apparently. So there's that. Okay, not familiar with Death Wish 2. Oh yeah, Delta Venus. I did try to watch this back in the day. I did rent it. Very weird movie, as if you couldn't tell by the thumbnail of the cover art right there of someone like grabbing someone. It's is this the thing with Costas Mandylor? Let me see. It is. Holy shit. Yeah. Yes. 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 Okay. I started watching this. Very weird. I couldn't get into it, so I didn't actually bother watching it per se. If you don't know who Costas Mandylor is, you probably only know him as Detective Hoffman from the Saw series. Yeah, he actually starred in something else aside from Saw, and this is pretty early. So I'm gonna have to go back to this movie. It was just so weird, like so weird. Not even in a good way, just in a very weird way. So I don't know. I just remember watching it and like, what the fuck is this? And I just stopped watching it. Okay, yes, I have heard of The Scent as well. In case you're wondering, this is not The Descent, you know, the movie where the woman, you know, go into the cave and get attacked by monsters. That's The Descent. This with Rosario Dawson, it's just called Descent, one word. I have not seen this either, but dealing with the subject matter, I don't think I want to for that. Yeah. Ugh, jeez. Because what I know about this, yeah, look at it right here. You can see the description right here. I'm not looking at a trailer, jeez. As for this, if it's good or not, I don't know. But based on the description alone, it's not something I really want to look into. Especially if it got that rating just for that one scene. Like, I don't want to look into that, but yeah, I have heard this movie, by the way. I really have no intent of watching it either. Desperate Living. Haven't heard this either. Oh, John Waters again. There you go. Okay, I better get those images off the screen. I don't want to get a strike or anything. What the hell? Dark Obsession. I have not heard of this either. 1989? Hmm. Yeah, but I heard Gabriel Byrne. Anyone else? No, not really. In case you're wondering, Gabriel Byrne, he was in Ghost Ship. He was in The Usual Suspects. I think he was in Stigmata. That was a very weird religious movie, by the way. Eh, never heard of this. Okay. Dice Rules? No, never heard of that. Easier Practice. That came out pretty recently, actually. Okay, why is this thing here? Easy Riders Video Magazine? What the hell was that? I don't want to know. Night Buffalo? This is pretty recent, too. 2000. What's this? Oh, it's like a foreign film? I see the Spanish subtitles. Okay. No, I never heard of this either. Movie just called Hell, huh? Okay, 2010. Wow. Oh, okay, that seems pretty dark right there, that description. Wow. Their foreign film? I'm assuming, maybe. I never heard this either. Some graphic violence. Yeah, okay. Else. Isn't there a foreign film too? Oh, I'm assuming by the subtitle there it is. Yeah, I never heard of this either. Okay. What else we got? Emmanuel 2, never heard of that. Female Trouble. Yeah, John Wars Strikes Again, third time, right? What? Flash Gordon meets the cop? What the fuck is that? Oh my god, I'm not clicking on that. Yeah, I did hear Frontiers as well. People, it's sort of like a hostile sort of thing. A gang of young thieves flee Paris, and they hope to be run by. Oh, no, no. Never heard of Glam either. Yeah, I think I heard that Happiness is like an animated film with Philip Seymour Hoffman. Yeah, I have heard that. Haven't seen it. Yeah, hard to believe the original Hard Target got this thing too. Kind of weird, right? You don't think like an action film with JCVD will cause that a lot of attention, but apparently so. Hard to Die, never heard of that. Hell's Bells, no. Okay, the very interesting thing about Henry and June, I have heard this, I have not seen it. It's the first movie to actually get the rating. Very first movie to officially get this rating, by the way. As for what's about, I'm not sure at any regard. But look at this, guys. As far as I'm aware, it's the only NC-17 rated movie to get an Oscar nomination. As you can see here, it was nominated for cinematography. Kind of interesting, right? So yes, it doesn't necessarily kill your chances at an award, getting award recognition, but you're still probably not gonna make a lot of money anyway. So is it worth it? I don't know. Yeah, it's more of a, yeah. I know you could sort of argue Requiem for a Dream. You know, Ellen Burstyn got an Oscar nomination for that, lead actress, I believe. I haven't seen that movie. I heard it's very dark and twisted about people addicted to drugs, which doesn't surprise me considering Darren Aronofsky directed it. But yeah, that's something I really don't want to watch, just based on the trailers I've seen of that. It's very vicious. And that being said, did that even officially get the NC-17 rating? Because I'm pretty sure it was unrated, but I don't know. I might have to look into that. Story of Oh, never heard that. I'm gonna have to speed up here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I can't click on this because I probably get a lot of porn by clicking on it. But I have heard this movie, by the way, Inside Deep Throat. Yeah, in case you're wondering, it's a documentary about the movie Deep Throat. Nothing to do with the whistleblower who was codenamed Deep Throat that blew up, no, that exposed the Watergate scandal. No, not that guy. This is about the porn film called Deep Throat, right? Now, I have not seen the original movie because I have no desire to. Plus, it was before my time, by the way, if it came out in the 70s. Believe it or not, my adopted parents saw it. Yeah, they were still I guess they were dating, or maybe they were still married at the time. I'm not sure. But apparently, my father took my mother to see this in the theaters. And full on porn, by the way, from what I could tell. But this movie in particular, Inside Deep Throat, is a documentary about the porn film, right? Like a deep dive inside this, like going over the movie, right? I don't know anything about it. I mean, I imagine it's okay. So, I do want to stress I did see the scene in question where the term deep throat comes from. I am not going to describe it here, but it lives up to what it hints at. Let me just say that. Wow, I'm just like reminded of that scene. Like, I don't know how to describe how I felt when I first saw that. Like, how is that even possible? But it is. I mean, use your imagination, guys, if you want to know what I'm thinking about. Deep throat. But yeah, if you saw the scene, or if you know what I'm talking about, right? Like, your eyes just go wide. How is that even possible? But yeah, I imagine if it does go over the film, it does show that scene. So let's not get into that so much. Okay, yeah, I have heard of Kids, by the way. Have heard of this. I never saw it though. It's an independent film by Larry Clark. He directed Bully, no, that controversial film with Brad Renfro. Was it Brad? No, I think it was Nick Stahl was in that. But yeah, that got a lot of attention, and this was something else that got a lot of negative attention. From what I understand, it does deal with a pretty very dark subject. I don't really want to go into it so much, but it deals with the main character, Leo Fitzpatrick, I believe his name is. I don't really want to go into it. It's so hideous when they've read, but yeah. You guys can look it up for yourself if you want to know what it's about. I don't want to go into it. I have not seen it, so yeah, it technically is unrated because he didn't submit it for rating because that would got an NC-17 rating. Which, by the way, the MPAA rating system is voluntary. By the way, if you want to put your movie in theaters, you don't have to submit it for like a rating, right? You could just not market it for a rating. It'll be listed as unrated, and then you won't get the stigma. But still, based on what people have said, what the film covers, yeah, it absolutely deserves a rating. I can't say that for sure, but given what it deals with, I don't want to. It even says right here, right there. But one final thing I want to bring up, yeah, Chloe Sev. I don't know how you pronounce her name. Sevigny is in this when she was younger. In case you're wondering, she later starred in Boys Don't Cry, got an Oscar nomination for that. So that came out only 4 years after, right? Yeah, it came out in '95. I believe Boys Don't Cry came out in 1999. That was only 4 years after the fact. Wow. Okay, yeah. Killer Joe. I've heard of this too. Not seen it either. But yeah, William Friedkin directed this. If you don't know who he is, he directed The French Connection, which won Best Picture, and he also won directing Oscar for that. I saw that a while back. It's with Gene Hackman going after a criminal. I did not like that. I thought it was incredibly boring, but apparently the studios liked it. The Oscar people liked it, and they gave it a bunch of awards, right? What he's done since then, mostly creepy stuff, believe it or not. He did The Exorcist, the original Exorcist, Power of Christ Compels You. That was him. He directed that, by the way. Aside from that, I'm not really sure of other things. He did direct Bug, by the way. Very, very creepy movie. Not so much violent, but going through like the mental stuff going on there. A lot of people hated that, but I thought it was okay. Not the best thing in the world, but given like the fact that it's not really violent, but goes through mental decay, yeah, it's pretty effective for what it's worth. But yeah, he did direct Killer Joe. I remember this. I have not seen this either. But yeah, Matthew McConaughey, Oscar winner for Dallas Buyers Club. He was in this. And I don't know how you pronounce this guy's first name. If you know him, Emile Hirsch. If someone could tell me how you pronounce his first name, I'd be very grateful. Very up and coming actor. He's been in many major things. Into the Wild, Lone Survivor, Alpha Dog. And some like lesser known things like Milk he was in. Imaginary Heroes, The Girl Next Door. Very popular person. I do feel he's going to make like rise up even higher as far as I can tell. Yeah, and Thomas Hayden Church. I don't know who Juno Temple is, but Thomas Hayden Church, yeah, Oscar nominee for Sideways. I remember seeing him in that. What? Oh God. A lonely bookworm comes. Not touching that. Hell no. Who makes a movie about this? Who the fuck would think that was a good idea? Oh my God. Why? Who funded this shit? Seriously. Your marketing is a mystery movie being reincarnated as Hitler's wife for 2 days? These people are running out of ideas, and the ideas they come up with are suck ass. Oh my God. Who would see that? Okay, yes, I do remember hearing about Bad Education because Gael Garcia Bernal was in it. I mentioned him in The King, which I also go over the disturbing movies list. I have not seen this. I know this is a foreign film, and by the way, it's one of the most successful NC-17 rated movies financially. But you can see it made a fair amount of money, but the thing is, it was shot on like a micro budget. It cost like $1 million to make, so the fact that it made over 5 million back, it's definitely like one of the most successful movies of that rating to ever exist, right? So there you go. Not so much that you can't make money from this rating given, right? But odds are you're not going to, because this was an indie film, not very wide release, and it cost a lot of money to make either. So, I feel a little. Okay, sorry guys. I'm just still feeling a little under the weather. I'm not back up to full form yet. I might have to take a break here. We'll see how long I've been recording. See, the thing is, when I do these PC-related recordings, I can't just glance over my screen when the recording software is still up to see how long I've been recording. Let's just check that out. God damn, 34 minutes. No wonder I'm exhausted. Okay, we're gonna stop here, guys. I'll go over the remainder of the films in the next video. I just want to go discuss some things. This is what the rating is, in case you weren't aware. And I'm gonna keep doing stuff like this because I don't want to just do gaming per se. Yeah, I still have a huge interest in gaming. I'm still gonna keep talking about gaming, but I do like to delve with some other topics too. I've been doing movies. I might do television at some point. I'm not sure yet because it's not just about games. I'm not like a T800 just dead set on doing one task. I do like to have a little variety. So, all right, that was an interesting thing. A little exhausting for me because, these types of videos where I just constantly talk, they do wear me out a lot quicker. In a sense, they are easier to do because I'm not just holding a controller, focusing on gameplay. I'm just pretty much talking about looking at something. But being a constant chatterbox, it does wear out my throat a lot because I'm always dehydrated. As you can see, I sound very hoarse at the moment. All right, I'm going to take a break here, guys. I'll finish this up next time. I will also finish up the disturbing videos discussion. I have 3 more to go over for that video. All right, so thanks for watching, guys. See you soon. Something else.